So she's already giving up that ground, right? She's already kind of bending the knee to that one already. And from the texts, right? Because I was in that call when she was talking and giving the interview, her first interview or whatever, and she's like, I told him you could do whatever you want, you could go see these other women, but just use protection, don't bring me diseases. And I believe her. Why would she make that up? Why would she make that up? So number one, Fresh and Fit, you may or may not know of the show. It's a show in a realm called the Manosphere. They're basically coaching men on how to be a top Chad legend, and you should be getting a 50 girl body count, which I'll get into at a later date in another video. But basically, you should be getting out there and smash as many broads as you can so that you could get your experience up and so that you could get a good girl, a nice, fresh, untouched virgin one day when you've got all your experience, and you've smashed half the town. You get a nice pure virgin, settle down with, and live happily ever after. That's basically a rundown synopsis on their whole brand of Fresh and Fit over there, all right? So what happened now is this dude that's one of two of Fresh and Fit, 50% of the whole Fresh and Fit team, Mr. Fresh, he allegedly had knocked up his girlfriend. This girl's coming out and people are interviewing her. She's going online. She's dumping receipts. She's putting him on blast. She looks upset, right? And I find it funny because you got everybody saying like, "Oh, I don't want to get involved. I'm not giving my 2 cents because we don't have all the facts yet. We need to hear from Fresh, Walter. We need to hear from Fresh first before we can make a statement." I find it funny because it's like a two-way street, because these people are so ready to condemn her, the girlfriend, so ready to give their 2 cents when it comes to her, talking about how she's broke, she's a gold digger, she's doing this to trap him, or X, Y, and Z, right? But when it comes to the situation, they quote unquote don't want to comment, but they have a lot to say about her. So I find that funny. Number one thing they say is, "Oh, she doesn't have money. She's this, she's that. She's looking for a bag." They have no justification for that claim. I don't know if she's wealthy or not. I have no idea. I don't know the girl personally, right? But I could tell you something about wealthy people, all right? Because she claims that Walter bought her a bracelet or whatever, some type of jewelry, $30,000 bracelet. They're living large, I could tell you that. They're doing well. He allegedly bought her this $30,000 bracelet, but the one he gave her was a fake, allegedly, according to her, right? Now, I'm going to tell you something. I'm going to tell the peasants, no offense. I'm not a super wealthy guy. I didn't grow up in these high societies or anything like that, but I know some wealthy people. I can tell you something about wealthy people. They know their brands. They know their designers. They know the 2024 new release at Tiffany bracelet. They know the specific loop that the fake can't replicate. They know the difference between the fake and the real one. That wealthy people know their designer stuff down to a T, all right? So if she's saying that she caught him out on getting her a fake bracelet, I mean, I believe it, And that, to me, having known wealthy people, gives me insight that she knows her high-end brand. She knows what she's talking about. So that, to me, is an indicator that she's not broke, let alone the fact that, she has tons of plastic surgery procedures and she's traveling the world. This is not a dusty woman. She's not broke. So I don't see how you guys are saying like she's trying to hop on the Fresh train and take his bucks. I'm not saying she is, I'm not saying she isn't, but to jump to that conclusion is wild to me. Number two, people are getting on her saying like, "Oh, she, no matter what, she's not gonna let him see the kid, this and that." Yo, this is a excuse the pun, but this is a fresh story, right? This just came out. So you can't expect her to be in her perfect mind, her perfect thinking clearly. We already know women are emotional. Sorry, feminists, don't freak out. We already know women are more emotional than men, and she's not dealing with this the same way a man would. We already see that he was telling her all types of things, which he's not denying. He was telling her all kind of lovey-dove stories. Oh, I want to be with you. I love you. This and that. Introduced this woman to his mother, right? Like this is someone like he introduced this woman to his mother, right? So you guys that are saying like she just jumped to conclusions or she just she didn't realize who she was dealing with or she didn't realize that she was just one of a roster. Like y'all are crazy. Considering the way the guy was operating, let's assume that her stories are true of him telling her how much he loved her and that she was going to be the main one and all this. It's not unreasonable for her to think that, right? It's not unreasonable for her to think that she's his girl when he's bringing her to see his family and meet all his childhood friends, right? Again, these are all still alleged, but I'm going off what's alleged that has not been quoted as not true. It's not like the guy came out and said like, "Oh, this isn't true," and we have video evidence of the woman meeting his mother. So it's not like anybody could say that that's not true because we have video evidence of the fact, right? So that's why it's like, for me, I don't know how all these dudes are coming up and saying she's lying. This is not like a situation. You get a lot of situations that women will make up like, they got beat up or some assault charge or something like that. This is different. This is a woman who claims that she was in love with this guy, right? And from the way the relationship went down, to my understanding, from what I've just seen, in terms of the messages, in terms of the video evidence of her meeting his mother, and she's buying the mother gifts, real gold digger move, buying the mother gifts, right? And the fact that this woman is from a different culture, right? She appears to be the Chinese culture. She's going back to China for Chinese New Year's, all type of things, right? So in her head, you guys are really gonna sit up here and say like it's unreasonable for her to think like he was taking her serious when he's making her meet his family? Like in her head, if she is indeed from a Chinese traditional culture, like if you're meeting family and this type of thing, like, yo, it's a serious relationship, especially if that is paired with the verbiage, right? The things that he's telling her, allegedly telling her like, oh, I want you to be my girl and this and that. I want you to be the main. And he's introducing you to his mother. Like, you think the guy's mother would sign off on this behavior? Like, if the guy's gonna just like hit and quit and try to pull a bail move, right? I don't think his mother would sign off on that behavior, right? So the people that are coming out and saying like, oh, she's clearly has an agenda because she says she doesn't want him to see the kid. This is an emotional reaction. This is early on. This stuff just happened. She's probably shook. All right. I'm giving her the benefit of the doubt. She could be spawn of Satan. This could be a whole ploy, right? Or if you want to get really conspiratorial, if I want to really scratch my conspiratorial itch, I could say that this whole thing is completely a sham and it's just created to get them to have some free promo, free publicity for the show. Anything is possible. But from what I see, this woman, I think, would patch things up and she would be interested in having a family if she indeed is culturally Chinese, right? Which I don't know this girl from Eve, right? I'm just giving her the benefit of the doubt here. If indeed she's culturally Chinese and traditional, you think this woman's not going to settle down with this dude? I believe her. I believe she would. Why wouldn't she? From that angle, I do believe these women when they say, look, I'm in love with this guy. I would stay with this guy. I have yet to see, I'm sure it happens, some anomalies, I don't know, but I've yet to see a woman completely go crazy out of nowhere, right? This guy brought to the table that he's seeing other women, right? Women don't deal with that very well for the most part, unless they have very low self-esteem, okay? I hate using the term normal, but any normal woman, right? She's not gonna feel comfortable with that, right? So she's already giving up that ground, right? She's already kind of bending the knee to that one already, and from the texts, right? Because I was in that call when she was talking and giving the interview, her first interview or whatever, and she's like, I told him you could do whatever you want, you could go see these other women, but just use protection, don't bring me diseases. And I believe her. Why would she make that up? Why would she make that up? That's like the best you could get. You can't complain, right? If a woman tells you that, it's like that's the best you could get, right? coming from that world, coming from that ideology of you wanna smash anything that walks, right? That's the best thing you could hear from your quote unquote main chick, right? So I don't understand how that turns into he's telling her, oh yeah, I'm smashing all these girls without protection. You know, like these men, they get greedy. They get greedy, right? He found a chick. She was above a 6 on 10. It was his first time ever smashing a girl that he thought was, I'm sure he thought she was attractive, right? First time ever, he's cooming his pants. He couldn't even freaking contain himself, the guy. Couldn't even contain himself, cooming his pants, right? These are the guys that are coaching like, oh, you need to do X, you need to do Y, you need to do Z. You know what I'm saying? Like these guys are not about it. They're saying these things out of one side of their mouth. On the other side of their mouth, they're cooming their pants with some Chinese chick. And then the dude probably met some other chick that he was down for, and he decides, yo, I'm gonna give this Chinese chick the slip. Even though the guy's freaking organizing dinner dates with his mother and his family. It's like, it's unbelievable. Like, am I the crazy one here? Like, it's unbelievable. The woman's good looking. Like, there's nothing wrong with her. You know? Even if there is something wrong with her, even if she's completely crazy, this is the woman you chose. This is the woman you decided to freaking coom balls deep. Like, you made that decision. I'm saying, obviously, this is all alleged. Let's say he did indeed impregnate her, and it is his right. Let's grant her all the whole story completely true. You willingly did that. Nobody had a gun to your head and made you do that. You know, so you have to own up. You gotta own up. Like, you're not being a lame by having a girl. You're not being a lame by having a girlfriend and a baby and a family. That's not lame, bro. Like, you guys need to stop telling these men that it's lame to have a freaking family. Like, bro, just man up, just do it. Just freaking do it, man.